Welcome to Marketing MASH, brought to you by themarketingscope.com.
Welcome to the Marketing MASH, brought to you by The Marketing Scope. I'm Eric Vidal. Today we have Jack Kosakowski, contributing writer for The Marketing Scope, writes about social media, social selling, and he's actually somebody who's in the trenches. He works for the marketing automation platform company called Acton. He's the regional sales manager there. And you have a lot of titles actually, some different, some good, some bad. Some people call you the e-brandulist, the SaaSanova for SaaS, because software as a service. It's great to have you here. Thank you.
Yeah, second round.
Yeah.
First one was fun, so we'll see how much more fun we can have with this one.
I want to talk to you about some of the articles that you've written, one specifically, and I know there's been a lot of social media posts about it, so I want to get your insight. Let's talk about the article first. Shameless plug, it's on themarketingscope.com. But it's social is selling and selling is social. Yes. And you talk about that from a marketing perspective and a salesperson perspective. So tell me what you mean by that. So
there's this, the great debate, right, where you've got a lot of people that think that social selling is just sales, right? Well, unfortunately it's not, right? I can't find but maybe a few salespeople that are actually using the right methods and actually doing the right things to get the right result, which is revenue, right? So, there's this whole plague about, fluff, right? And one of the things that I think that I wanted to prove in this point is that when you're in marketing, you are sales. And when you're in sales, you are marketing.
At some point, you're part of the funnel, whether it's the top, the middle, or the bottom, you're part of the funnel.
And you might be, and not only are you part of the funnel, but you might be on the right side and the left side of the funnel. And I think that that's a shift that we're seeing in marketing and sales today, right? Social selling to me is no more than a term of, social, which is marketing, and sales, which is sales, right? Selling, which is sales. And essentially we are both doing the same thing, whether we like it or not, right? Especially with social media, because what it's doing is it's actually forcing salespeople to become marketers. And it should be, if you're listening to the right people, forcing marketers to start thinking like salespeople, right?
Well, let's talk about that, because you gave a great example in the article. Talk to us about that example.
Yeah, so the example that I use in the article is to say that marketing's job has essentially always been to create material, right? Create content. Well, now what marketing's job is even deeper than that. So not only do they have to create the marketing material, but now they have to get the engagement and they have to get permission from the buyer to get their data. And the way that data works now, right? It's the big topic. Everyone wants to talk about data. But if you think about data, what marketing's job really is to make such good content that they put it out onto the social media channels, email, whatever channel that may be, and they have to actually get permission from somebody to give them their data. And when they do that, if you think about it, as a buyer, right? I say in there, buyers are liars, but we're not idiots. We know that you're gonna put us into the sales process, right? Yeah. Have you ever filled out a form and thought, oh, I bet the sales guy's not gonna call me, or I bet marketing's not gonna start emailing me to put me through the customer, buying cycle. I mean, come on, right?
Sometimes the other call within an hour.
So now marketers are actually, to understand if they're doing their job or not, right? They have to actually get your permission and sell you to give you their data.
Yeah. Let's go back a second. We said marketers are all about creating that content. They do other things too, like PR, lead generation, strategy, positioning, messaging. So I just want to protect our marketers out there.
No. But here's the deal, right? So what I'm talking about though is that a marketer's job is not done with just content anymore, right?
Yeah.
With data, everything's got to be backed by data. It's got to be passed over to sales, and it's got to go through a process with marketing and sales to one end journey, which is revenue, right?
Yeah.
And traditional marketing might not even track that, right? It might be a vanity metric or whatever, but those days are over. Your CEO and you as a marketer should aspire to know exactly how much revenue that you attributed through your content, your campaigns, and your PR. All of that stuff should be tracked from a data analytics standpoint, and you should be able to walk in proud to your owner's office and say, look, I might be in marketing, but look how much revenue that I drove in sales. Yeah. And that's a mindset. We got all these fluff balls out there talking, trust and all this BS. And I'm telling you, if you're in marketing, quit listening to that crap, right? Start listening to data-driven marketers that are doing things, right? And they might not be the most visible. They might not write some crap thought leadership books about humans and all this other crap. Like, really, you got to think about it like this. Relationships, all this fluff that comes out, that has been around since Noah put the last elephant on the ark, right? We know that relationships drive and trust drive everything that we do, right? But the days of all that fluff are over. Your CEO doesn't give a crap about how many relationships you built today. He doesn't give a crap about how much trust.
What about likes, though?
He doesn't care about all that, really, because your job in marketing or sales is to come to work every day and better the business. And bettering the business means driving revenue. However that process works, right? We know that relationships are part of that. Trust. We know all that crap, right? We've already buried that hatchet. Now let's start talking data and let's start talking dollars, because that's what's going to make you and I successful, our company successful. But on top of that, that's what's going to get you a promotion, right? And as a marketer, I've heard this for a long time. Marketers don't make any money. Well, you know why? Because traditionally, a CEO didn't think that you were adding to the bottom line. They thought you were costing the bottom line. But those days are over, right? As marketers, you should aspire to drive a ton of revenue, and then you should go and you should say that you want more money, because you are actually not a cost anymore, you're an asset.
Yeah. I think for smaller and even some medium-sized companies, you can track almost everything. It's harder, the larger the company you're in, it's harder, I think. But I'm just saying, it is.
It's all process, right? Process and technology.
But you should be able to track not just leads, or not just what you were saying, likes and hugs and all that, but it's about how many leads, how many opportunities, how many appointments, what kind of pipeline did you create, right? Then how much closed revenue. But then it flips the other side, and it's how much deeper and wider did you go into that account, right? And marketing should be helping sales go deeper and wider within an account. Once it's closed, don't just go think of the next net new deal that I can close. How do I make that customer happy, satisfied, and then
what you're talking about
go across the enterprise?
And that's the shift from acquisition to retention, right?
Exactly.
And a marketer's job is even more important from a retention standpoint, right? And retention is what drives dollars. Most companies, and I don't have the statistics on me, but if you know this, most companies thrive not from net new, but by building what they have, right?
Well, it depends on what report you see out there. I mean, sometimes it's 5 times as harder. Sometimes I've seen it even 7 plus, but it's 7 times harder to go get a net new client than to increase a current one.
Yeah, and I mean, I strongly believe in this, right? Like, I am a sales guy, but I sell marketing software. So I'm in the weeds with marketers every day, right? I get to hear their problems, their stories. And I can tell you that it's not a lot of marketers' fault, because the thought leadership and the people that are leading this fluff ball charge have been telling you that it's okay to have these crap vanity metrics, right? I mean, how many marketers do you see out there that are talking data-driven marketing with revenue behind it? There are some. So
I'm in the media world now, and so I do see what you're saying. I see a lot of people talking about a lot of fluffy metrics. You go back a year or two ago when I was in B2B marketing, that's what we're all talking about. Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about.
But the thing about it is, the marketers that are doing the work, the data-driven and showing the revenue, are not the ones that are visible, right? Because they're heads down.
They're behind closed doors, just grinding it, right?
They're heads down, and they're not worried about their personal brand. Let's be honest, right? They don't have time for a personal brand because they've dedicated all their time and resources into making their brand successful. So I just challenge everyone, especially in marketing, like, it is your time to shine. Like, right now in my opinion, is one of the most exciting times in sales and marketing. Yeah. Because marketers can now show how much value that they add, and they can do it through data and analytics, and it should excite you as a marketer. Yeah,
it should. And let's flip it. Let's go back to the salesperson. One of the things I've noticed with you in your career, because we're close and you write for the Marketing Scope, but the last couple of years, you do a lot of marketing. You create a lot of your own content. You amplify and promote and publish that content. You write a lot of articles. Obviously, that's part of the mix, but you're also sharing that through social. I mean, you're doing a lot of marketing for, your own personal brand, right? So let's call that out, but you're also doing it for your company as well, right? You're a very vocal ambassador for your company and the space? Because I saw that you liked one of your competitors on Facebook the other day, by the way, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no, to me, a competitor, that whole argument is a joke, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like those days are over, right?
Yeah. But you're a voice for the space, right?
But my thought leadership, drives from Acton, right? So when I started at Acton 2.5 years ago, I had no marketing experience. I thought marketing was a joke, right? Like just the traditional way of thinking, like marketing's. But now that I've gotten to really understand marketing automation as a whole, as a technology, which is really the driving force behind the actual trackability of all these campaigns.
Yeah.
It's really given me that fire to understand that sales and marketing really have to go together, or you are a dead duck, right? I mean, the days of sales and marketing are over. Like, it's marketing, plain and simple. And I hope that you get that now as an organization, or you're gonna be in big trouble.
Yeah. Well, good. Jack, thanks for joining us. Thanks for talking social is selling and selling is social. Make sure you follow Jack Kosakowski and his articles on the Marketing Scope. And thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode of Marketing Mash. You can share your thoughts by following us on Twitter and Facebook. Subscribe to our podcast to keep up with the show. And of course, you can always find us by visiting themarketingscope.com.